Welcome to the latest article from Clive. God inspires, so I carefully write them down to share them with you. God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. Remember, take time to make your soul happy. Our article this time is called Snap Frozen in Time. Jesus' parables always took a physical event and then wove from that concept a spiritual event. So let us develop the concepts around that from this very concept, and to let this concept blossom, to help us to understand a more heavenly concept. And inspiration has once more given us this to consider. And the setting is the Klondike around 1890-1900. The Klondike is a world of rapidly changing extremes and can flip from one extreme to another in mere minutes. Like in spring, the thermometer can go from minus 40 Fahrenheit below all the way up to 35 Fahrenheit above in just a few short hours. And now that is a rapid change. But can you go from frozen in sin to warmed by the love of God, transformed from dead to alive, thawed out by the warmth of the love of God in just a few rapid hours? God can do it. Do you want God to warm your cold heart, to thaw you out, to make you alive and lively, warmed and safe and closed and embraced? Up in the Klondike, the river breaks up in May with a hiss and a roar. Huge slabs of ice buffet and crunch each other, getting tipped and lifted, slowly swirling and moving downstream. Open water at long last, but not for long, 'cause by August the first frosts arrive and winter's frosty fingers start to creep across the land and creep into everything, and promising even worse to come. Snow is in early September, and thus one is into the 7 months of winter confinement and near total darkness. By mid-November, the sun completely disappears for 2 whole months, and a tentative reappearance in mid-January. What happens when you get on the wrong side of winter? Well, let us tell you a couple of true stories then. But let us set the scene. In the very cold weather, a thick fog settles over the Yukon Valley. It appears as soon as the thermometer sank below 40. And looking out the window, one can pretty well judge the temperature by its density. If the buildings a short block away are still visible, well, that's about 40 below. If the building half a block away is somewhat invisible, well, that's 50 below. And if the house right across the street is invisible, well, then it's fully 60 below zero, or even, at its worst, sinking to 72 below on the Fahrenheit scale. Well, that's minus 58 degrees centigrade. Pretty cold. At temperatures below 60, any overexertion or heavy breathing could well freeze the lungs. Poor old Smith Constance was fetching back his provisions one Christmas Eve and met his death in this manner. The mild weather was at a balmy 30 below. But towards night, when Constance started to head for home, the thermometer began to drop. He was 80 years old, and he probably became dazed with cold and fatigue as he finally neared his cabin in the now foggy forest. At any rate, they found him lying just 50 yards from his cabin door, his tracks in the snow tracing an aimless path around a little fir tree, unable to clearly see his door and to make out the safety of his cabin door through the fog, unable to distinguish his cabin in the whiteout. He tried to keep warm by slowly walking, and to go round and round the little tree, to save himself from going off the trail and getting absolutely and totally lost. The Mounties would often come across a strange parka-clad figure standing stiffly in the snow, unmoving. This was the corpse of yet another man who had paused to knock his numbed feet together and to wipe the ice from his stiffening eyeballs, only to find he could not move on any more, and there he would remain, a frozen and grisly statue. An old-timer was located, frozen in time, yet another frozen and grisly statue, hand reaching towards the door catch just mere inches away. But he never ever made it through the door into the warmth and safety within, perishing right upon his very doorstep, oh so very close, yet completely missing the safety of his indoors. Some humorously say that many will miss heaven by mere inches, the very distance between the head and the heart. Oh, so very close, but so very far away, wishes and desires, but actions below par. The wise and the foolish bridesmaids of Matthew 25, they were oh so very close to the safety of heaven, but their failings had frozen them out right there at the very door, even standing right on the very doorstep, hands reaching out to the door, just mere inches away, and in the end, perishing just mere inches from salvation, perishing right at the very door. Revelation 22:11, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. Snap frozen in time. Snap frozen on the trail, failing to achieve a safe arrival, lost far from home, yet others fall oh so tantalizingly very close, but still so very far away from the warmth and safety within, but on the wrong side of the door, still coming up short, and are right even at the very door, but never make it through into the love and warmth of eternity and heaven beyond. Snap frozen in time, short of the final goal, whether it be far away or short, or even right outside the door. On the wrong side of the door is never going to be right. It always leaves us to falling short, perishing, eternally lost, dead in their trespasses and sin, just frozen out from the grace and purity and warmth of heaven. Will you also fall short of the glory of God, lost in the bleak wilderness of the cares of this life of sin? Or are you all cozy and warm and safe in my heavenly Father's love, heading briskly to my Father's house? It's been so nice to share this article with you, and we look forward to meeting you again. Thank you for these precious moments of your time. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing this with friends and family. So, may God be with you till we meet again. Until then, please stay safe.